Several hundreds of years ago, the study of outer space used to be tied to a lot of spirituality and some kind of divine explanations to understand and predict a lot of human and planetary events using the stars in the sky. This is known as astrology, today considered as a pseudoscience. With the modern domination of astronomy, the more scientific study of the two, astrology has been fading and followers and common belief has declined massively in the last century or so. Today, we'll be talking about the fall of astrology in modern science. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the C-Squared channel. There was a time when both astronomy and astrology were regarded as one and the same. While there were certainly many branches and forms of ancient astrology, the most common one that people know of today is known as Western astrology. Ancient astronomers at the time made good use of the positions of stars in the sky to determine the behavior and future of people's lives. These correspond to what is known as constellations, a pattern or design that can be made by joining different stars together in the night sky. These are called astrological signs, or star signs, and they are chosen to represent different times of the year, which collectively became known to be the zodiac. The star sign you fall under is dependent on when you are born during the year. For example, I was born on the 27th of December. So by using the zodiac, I would fall under the star sign of Capricorn. So what does this mean? In modern astrology, and according to the zodiac, the fact that I am a Capricorn will have an impact on my personality traits and how daily activities will unfold according to the horoscope, a forecast of events for people and groups of people in general. A quick list of my traits is shown here, and these are different for the other 11 star signs as well. If you're interested in seeing what your star sign is and what, you might be represented as in astrology, feel free to check out the link in the description I provided below. In ancient astrology, there was a lot more than just the zodiac and the horoscope. There was the more scientific side of things, which was astronomy. People at the time would practice both astronomy and astrology together, as they were considered to be closely related or pretty much the same. Astronomy would deal with the study of the stars, and astrology took that and looked at how the star and planet alignments affected our lives and the planet in general. However, with plenty of objections to astrology growing over the centuries, both sciences slowly began to split off from each other, and by around the 17th to 18th centuries, astronomy began to stand independently as its own science, while astrology fell into the realm of pseudoscience. Early objections to astrology went as far back as the 1st century, with St. Augustine being at the front of this. As he was a devout Christian, he claimed that because astrological principles rely on your birth month, for one, and how the alignment of stars affects you, for second, your life will become very deterministic in nature, meaning that everything, every day of your life is already decided for you. This went completely against his view of free will, where you are able to choose your own way in life and not have everything suddenly decided for you, as taught in Christianity, and this is very well present in many other religions as well. Later on, in the medieval ages, by around the 13th century, Western astrology made its way into medicine and health. Doctors across Europe started to use astrology quite extensively and carried out ways to make medicinal treatments using the alignments of stars and other celestial objects to help guide them. Hell, even by the 15th century, if some doctors wished to perform surgeries on patients, they would need to calculate the position of the moon by law before carrying out the procedures, just to ensure some kind of good luck when operating. However, while this was very popular, once again, a lot of religious leaders actively started pushing against astrology due to conflicts with their religious beliefs. Similar reasons to St. Augustine back in the 1st century. Now we fast forward to the 17th to 18th centuries. Astronomical theories were going through testing thanks to inventions such as the telescope and massive interest in development in physics in general. And some evidence has started to be collected for these theories as well. The majority of them to be proven later on in the more modern ages, which is right now. However, theories surrounding astrology had no evidence provided to support them, as simply nothing could be found, and they also all went against a lot of developments that were going on in astronomy and physics in general. The nail in the coffin was when Newton devised his laws of motion, which were used to explain how planets moved in orbits around our central star, the Sun. This also proved the idea of a heliocentric system, which meant that the Sun was at the center of the solar system. In astrology, it was believed that planets moved around us, meaning a geocentric system, and the precise locations of planets and other objects across the year would heavily influence how we would behave or how humanity would evolve. Of course though, what was discovered with Newton here and the revelation of a heliocentric system simply just meant that other planets had no influence on our mood or behavior. This is just simply how they move around the solar system. This also just meant that there are other companion planets orbiting around the same star as us. And because of this massive revelation, this led to a massive split between astrology and astronomy, and the majority of scientists started to reject astrology in favor of astronomy. Now, in the modern era of today's science, astronomy is no longer considered as a scholarly tradition in the sciences, and is being downgraded to what is known as a pseudoscience, which has meant that it makes various claims, but cannot be supported through what is known as the scientific method. Ever since then, astrology has been on a steady decline, and is almost never practiced in science. Astronomy is now far different than astrology, and has evolved to become one of the most important sciences of the modern world, as it leads on to the future with a goal to explain some of the most fundamental questions of our origins and the universe as a whole. So how is astrology perceived in today's times? While suddenly nobody treats astrology as a science anymore, there is still some interest among the common folk, with people still reading up on their daily horoscopes on newspapers and websites, as some are still trying their luck with love and relationships by seeing what star signs they are and aren't compatible with. So the general faith of astrology is still very much going, and in fact I would argue that it's actually been on a slight increase. Thanks to media and the internet and such. But as far as science is concerned, no, not a science at all. That one's just completely dead. In the words of Reeves G, as far as a science is concerned, astrology, which died in the middle of the 17th century, remains dead. As a faith, it is still alive.